If you didn't know this was Volvo's smallest SUV just by looking at it here, I definitely wouldn't blame you. Let me go through the style outside, some of the interesting features and things inside, and then we'll take it out on the road and give it a drive review. I do like these lights. They don't show up that well here. The Thor's hammer look that you've seen on other Volvos is present. Good old Volvo logo. When we check out the engine, I'll show you how this goes up to where you'd actually open the hood, which is in here. If you ever are trying to raise the hood, and you'll know. It's actually, so yeah, you'll see the line ends right here. It kind of does point exactly right to that, where that little switch is, and then up she goes. Pretty uninteresting mode to look at. I do love the green fluid there. That is very cool. Of course, as you've probably seen before, this is actually rubber, not plastic, but like a rubber material, which must help with vibration and sound, I would guess. If anything else, it's kind of neat. It kind of looks cool. And then pretty standard stuff here. You can't see much of the engine, really, but I'll talk about that in the drive review. I'm going so granular, I feel like this is a Doug DeMuro video, but even the belt says Volvo on it. So in case you ever wonder, like, hey, do I have an official Volvo belt? You know. So good looking front, very traditional Volvo. Coming around to the good side profile, I'll point out a few things as we go. It's kind of neat that there's the Swedish flag logo here. Really like the rims and tires on this one. This is the R package, which is considered kind of like a sport package, if you will. We'll talk about if this gives you a bit of a blind spot in the drive review. Good looking SUV overall, though. It fits Volvo's design language very well. This is the T5, and then it's got the all-wheel drive as well. One thing I like about this is when I open up the back liftgate here, look how fast it actually goes up. Some of them are just so slow it's painful. This one actually goes at a nice speed. You can hear. And even they go fast. Forward, rather, very fast. I like that instead of a very slow process. You've probably seen this if you've seen other reviews, but I'd be remiss in not pointing it out. That is not what it does. So you just kind of put it into place right like this, and then it creates kind of a sectioned area, more so up there, so you can put like groceries and things like that over there. And then not too much else to talk about back here. Spare tire down there, and not as much side storage here as on some other SUVs. There's a little area over here, and there's even a little place where you can put a 12 volt, so you can put an accessory there. And then that's kind of it. This little metal plate here to make it look a little more rugged. So, taking this guy down, fair amount of storage space back there. Pretty deep, pretty long, especially because this is, I believe, still considered a subcompact SUV. Let's see if it goes down anywhere near. Yeah, see, even the down is pretty quick on this SUV. Let's check out some of the interior in the back seat here. See how the space is on that. I like the little R-Design logo there. I missed that on the original walk around. This, of course, does have that cool orange interior, which we'll talk about more in the interior part. A ski pass through here because I guess people do ski a lot in Sweden. I haven't seen it on all Volvo SUVs. Although, okay, so yeah, you have to have the armrest down for this to work as well. I'll show you that once the seat's up. Yeah, very easy just to throw the seat up. And then, yeah, so as you pull this down, there's actually a nice little cover over it there to keep you know, this leather nice and whatnot. Front with the seat all the way back like that. As you can see, I can very easily, not only just, I can barely even touch up there. So this is, you know, you probably wouldn't want it this far back. Let me move it forward to kind of like a reasonable level, and then I'll show you at the back again. See, so now I still have plenty of room up here. Let's see, for like where a 6-foot person probably would be, and let's check it out in back. So yeah, this is with the seat as far back as it'll go in the front, and I'll show you just in a moment how far that is. Just under 6 feet, and I can fit, and I still have plenty of room. So 2 6-feet people would fit in this car. All right, and let's check out the rest of the interior now. Nice little vents back here. They follow the design language of kind of the front, which is nice. And then there's a cigarette lighter port under here if you want some entertainment. And then like vents under the seat. So nice interior. And then of course this one has, you can get the pano sunroof, and it's a nice option. It just really opens the car. Piano roof, so this is all the way closed. If you do it up, this is so cool. Not a lot have this. I put it up like that. The moonroof's now up, and then there's now this where air can ventilate out through. You think it could ventilate through this meshness, but a lot don't even do that. They make you open the sunshade to put it up. So this is smart thinking for hot climates, because you still get all the cooling aspects, and then you get a space for the air to evacuate in addition to the mesh itself. We'll talk about those screens a little bit coming up or more. But this interior is nice. I do especially like the seats with the leather and the Alcantara material kind of in the middle there. And then check around to these seats. The bolstering is pretty incredible and pretty thick. That's part of the R-Design option on here, but it really does help hold you in place along with the Alcantara in the seats there. Saw this little cubby down here. I'm not sure if this is maybe like a change holder. Someone, probably an owner, can let me know in the comments what it does, but that's kind of neat as well. That's a nice touch. The only higher end trim, costs about the same as this. It just doesn't have this sporty stuff. Is the crystal shifter there. That's one of the big things I noticed this one's missing. Obviously this trim is different too. There's a piece somewhere, an aftermarket upgrade, where you could probably swap that out in this car if you wanted. While I'm on it, let me show you guys the key here, because I think it's kind of a cool key. It just says Volvo here, and then it's flat back here, because all the buttons are on the side. If you own a newer Volvo, you'd know about that. This is the panic button, as I found out the hard way. Once, I guess it kind of looks like a little panic logo there, and then pretty standard stuff. People don't use the key that much, but I like when they're nice and look cool. Unlock, lock, and the lift gate, or trunk, I guess, if you had a sedan. And then, of course, this nice little Volvo thing came on our particular one, which I am quite a fan of when you want to hang the key. But then when you don't use it, it's small there. So anyway, coming on to the interior here, this, of course, does have the orange, which really makes it pop. It's pretty hard. Even when I got the car, these are well detailed. See how it kind of does attract dirt over time. This one's been in their press fleet for a while. So it's nothing too terrible, but it's just something to keep an eye out for if you do this like light bright interior. They're both digital. This is probably similar to Audi's cockpit, virtual cockpit. I'll talk about it a little bit more in a second. And then this is kind of just like an in-between phase there. So let me do that. About this screen, so you press this button here and you can get various different info about your functions, just like you would on any other car. So pretty fairly intuitive there. You get a nice big screen in here, easy to use. I'll show you how that works a little bit more. The drive mode selector is down there, and some nice physical backup buttons. Major climate control things are there. This does volume, and then this does your drive modes. 2 USB, and you can option a wireless charging pad on it there. Cup holders. Of course, this is a trash can, or a little waste bin, or whatever you want to call it, as well there, which is nice. And then this console goes pretty deep down in there, and it also has this little storage area, which is neat. And then if you want to empty this waste bin, you just pull it out like this. So this is actually the perfect size for like little papers and all this stuff that collects. You may see with that out, that is if your key battery ever dies and you need to kind of do it old school. That's where you'd place the key to make it work. And of course, there's leather and stitching on this as well. Even the sides of the seat here have this like Alcantara type material. And of course, it has the Volvo funky headrest. And not only look cool, but that's for neck safety as well. Let me do the couple of critiques I have in this video very early on, because I am a fan of this car, and that's what I'll talk about in the part of the drive review where I'm like, at the end, would I buy it with my own money? Let me just show you how it works, because I always like to show. So here I am starting it up. There's those very cool gauges, all the things that check. This car is almost as self-driving, I'd say, as a Mercedes. As you saw there, that little thing is supposed to be your car, and then as an alert pops up, it makes the car bigger, and it shows you exactly what is going on. And then once you've remedied the situation, whether it be a door ajar, that just kind of goes away and out of the way. So anyway, this shifter, hitting it once would put it in neutral. So is hard, no matter how hard you press it, it's always going to be neutral. And then reverse Get the obviously backup camera, your mirrors go down. It is no matter how far back you go, one more time, it's neutral. After a little time dealing with it, you just kind of get in this habit after the first few days of going click, click to get in reverse, and then click, click to get in drive. And then if you ever do neutral, you don't need neutral that often, it's just the one click. The problem is, it hasn't missed one yet. The argument would be it could be a little bit dangerous if you think you're in you know, a certain gear and you're not, because it misses one of the two clicks. And then of course this is for park. So again, I wish there was some sort of feedback. Most of their systems have either where it has like feedback or a gear. The Mercedes one up here is not great, but even then it does give two positions. You go here, you go into neutral, you go all the way down, you go into drive, you go all the way up, you go into reverse. So some sort of redesign or mechanism for this would be nice. This looks a lot better on video, but I'm not a huge fan of whatever this is. It's like a metallic kind of look. It's just it's the one thing I would say that all the plastics are nice, all the, you know, other materials are pretty nice, but it's the one thing that keeps it feeling a little bit different. It feels really cool, but it just feels a little lower than some of the other Volvos out there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You really have to see it in person, and then I think you'll kind of see what I mean. But outside of that, it's very, very nice. Another little critique, when I go to adjust the volume every time for that is more user error. I go to do this, the volume is actually down here. This is actually the, you know, to open and close your climate control. Just a little thing you get used to pretty quickly, and I'm still glad there is a backup button for, you know, most of these functions. And of course the defrost functions and things like that. This screen works so well and has so many functions. I almost don't really miss them not having more dedicated buttons, because they've left the really important ones down here. Changing the climate control is really simple on here. There is no way to quickly and easily, that I found at least, go up and down on it while we're on the critiques, but once you're in there, it's very easy and straightforward to do. And same for your like heated seats, and you can even get, this one even has a heated steering wheel on there, which is nice. When you kind of have to figure out what things are, this is actually the vent for the defroster. It looks cool, and that little part is to channel the air up here for the side windows. Until I turn if you hear in the background, until I turn the defroster on, that's kind of what that is. The mode, drive mode I have it in right now is just comfort. I'll probably put it in dynamic a little bit later. So yeah, that shifter, still not 100% enamored with it, but like I said, as the week went on, I didn't notice it more and more, and I just kind of had that little motion you needed down. Good torquiness, good kind of off-the-line power. The steering, even in a non-sport mode, is pretty good. I'm gonna put it in dynamic, which is their sport mode, right away, which is dynamic, and then the definition is high performance, as I'll show you. I love that. Yeah, it tightens up quite a lot in that mode. But yeah, for around town, it's comfortable. The seats are really, really good. Very adjustable. It's a good around town car, which I bet is a lot of what, being the smaller SUV, this does. Brakes are grippy. So all the components work well together. On the topic of around town, the hold function works so well on it. Sometimes I'd find it when you come to a stop, and it just kind of holds the car until you hit the accelerator without even realizing it, which on a lot of cars you just have to pound the brake pedal down so hard, and a lot Hyundais and Toyotas, I think you have to press a button first and then do it, whereas here you just, as you come to a stop, it engages right there for you, 0, and it's now in hold. The only way you know that is that little A lights up. Brake pedal, press brake pedal while disabling, okay, and then so that's how you turn it on and off. It looks like an auto stop start logo when you have it on, but it's actually for the brake hold. Talking very quickly about the stereo, it is good in this car. The area, it's kind of different from some of the higher end ones in the higher Volvos, which are some of the best out there, is the high end notes. It's got the little air powered subwoofer. All I'll really say about that is it's really cool. The bass is really strong, and I don't notice any difference, even listening to like electronic music right now, or dance music. You know, I can't hear a difference in bass, and it's strong and present in there as well. And then I like how there's like different surround sound modes for the different seats and stuff like that, and it's fully adjustable. It's a really good system, definitely one of the better Harman Kardons out there. If you like music, it's definitely a good system to check out. And then this is more of your music options here. This thing is about the size of a small iPad, and it's very well laid out. It's pretty foolproof to get to what you want. The only little catch is you kind of have to slide this down to get into settings for what you are in. So just know that's up there, and you'll actually press it sometimes. But yeah, pretty standard. And then of course you always have your climate down here no matter what you do. If there's a way to adjust this without having to do 2 presses, let me know in the comments. And again, coming around to this screen here, of course you can have the map in there. This is all the controls for the self-driving features. So this is like how you power the cruise control on, speed, distance of the smart cruise and things like that. And then these two here don't actually do a lot. All they do is change it between pilot assist and adaptive cruise. Pilot assist being the full system where it kind of does a lot of the driving for you, and you just hold the wheel and pay attention to make sure everything is okay, as a legal disclaimer. Little paddles, but they do work pretty quickly, as we'll talk about in the drive review. Down here you can put, if you're going out without your wallet, you can put your driver's license and a credit card and then leave your wallet at home, kind of. It is technically meant for like parking tickets and things like that, however, but it is there. You put things in there, they click quite nicely in, so they're not going to fall out. They're held nicely, and it does its job well. Also, at first, when I first looked, I thought this could close, but it is always designed to be open. This is, I guess, what would be, it'd be like an ashtray, or you could put small kind of trash items, or just use it as a secret little storage area most people don't know about, so it's kind of nice. These cup holders, for a very large drink, this one will do it well. This one's not as deep as that one, as you've noticed, but this could fit an entire water bottle here. So if you had a bigger drink, you would just put it right down in there. And then, of course, because of that single woofer doing all the work there, you could fit anything very large in there. You could fit a smaller laptop, an iPad, I mean, you name it. It's just a lot of space down here. And at night, this is actually lit as well. I can feel like a little light. The handles are kind of fun and funky on there as well. All right, so got it in drive, dynamic mode. Let's set off and kind of do the little curves I normally do here. This is a whoa, man, it really shifts there. Turn in here, it's good. Wow, it's hard to imagine I'm not in a manual drive mode there, but I'm not. How like quickly the revs build, the steering is very linear. There's something a little off about it compared to like a sports car, which it's a Volvo, but it's something I enjoy driving the car spiritedly. So I would say it's the dynamic mode does make the steering good. There's just something that takes a little getting used to. It might be the on-center feel. I'm still trying to figure that out. Someone can probably let me know in the comments. But yeah, it's tight. It's sound. It feels good. The brakes, they're actually kind of smaller, as you may have seen when we did the walk around on the car. At least compared to the tire or the rim size. All right, off the line acceleration here. It's quick. That's up to 30, like that. And then the 60 isn't anything sports car like, but it's definitely not a slow SUV at all. And if you want something sporty, I never thought, and granted this is the R-Design sport trim, but I never thought I'd be saying, hey, if you want a sporty subcompact SUV, check this out along with like a BMW. Once you get the car out on the highway and cruise in it, which I've done a little bit, it's comfortable. It still remains comfortable. I would take this car on a long trip, and you know, I would enjoy it. The power I have it in dynamic mode because I did 3 taps instead of, or manual mode because I did 3 taps instead of 2, which is why you heard the engine revving up there. But yeah, it's a good highway cruiser. On the very top end, as a lot of these smaller engines do, it runs out of power a little bit, but you're going to be going speeds illegal by the time you get to that point. Anyway, at least here in the US, where the highest speed limit here in Texas is 85 miles an hour. It's a good highway cruiser, and I think it's an even better around town car. These big wheels kind of a little bit make the ride choppy, but only compared to like an ultra luxury thing, Type S vehicle, or even like another one of the bigger Volvo siblings. It's very comfortable and you don't feel much. And so for this class, it's got great ride quality. And if there's any specific competitors you want me to compare it to, down in the comments, let me know. I definitely like it better than the small Lexus I reviewed not too long ago. Different, the interior is nicer on the Lexus, I would say, arguably, but the tech is better here. This is more fun to drive, and this doesn't feel as compromised compared to other Volvos as that Lexus does compared to other Lexuses. It just didn't fully feel Lexus-like. I don't know if that makes any sense. On to the part of the review where I said I'd talk about later, would I buy this with my own money? I used to not like the ultra compact category at all. Even the Mazda CX-3, which is one of the sportier ones in it, felt kind of compromising. Like, I would just get a Mazda 3 wagon if I didn't need the all-wheel drive. Lately, the first one of these I've really liked, where I'd consider buying it, was the Hyundai Kona, but that doesn't compare to this because it's not a luxury SUV. It does compare to this in spirit, and this is a little different. It's got a little funky design and style, but I doubt people are cross-shopping that. So of the smaller ones of these, this definitely is my favorite small luxury SUV I have driven. Came time to write my own check. This is it. Until next time, my speedy racers, drive on.